Today I'm going to talk about day 3 of Stoic Week. It's actually day 4 in the morning. I didn't have enough time. It's interesting considering yesterday's video. I didn't find enough time to talk about this yesterday, so I'm going to do it this morning instead. And so, day 3's theme was action and the Stoic Reserve Clause, which all sounds very mysterious. I'll work through it again like I have done with the other ones, and start with the morning reflection text, which the general gist of that is you shouldn't worry about what other people do, how they act, whether they're ignorant, whether they're evil, they're good, they're bad, because nothing they can do can really affect who you are, because you're all part of a grander scheme of things. So yeah. It's Marcus Aurelius, and it says, I cannot be angry with my fellow human being or hate him. We were born for cooperation, like feet, like hands, like eyelids. So really, the body politic kind of thing, the idea that everybody is part of the same, cosmos is the word I've been using, the same body of humanity. You're all working together for some common good. Whether some people realise that or not, I suppose, is the way it's seen. So today's topic, as I said, was all about accepting Stoic acceptance, Stoic action, and the basic idea around this idea of how Stoics act is not to worry too much about the past or the future, because those are things, again, it's not in your control, it's not in your power, so you shouldn't be worrying about it. Of course, you can have some impact, and you can use the past and plan for the future and that sort of thing. But the basic idea is something has happened. Don't worry about what has happened. Focus instead on the now and how you can change the now to, I guess, change the future without worrying too much about the future. Now, this one seems a little bit more convoluted to me, I think. It's a bit harder to get a hold of, get a grounding of, because naturally everybody panics about things, their deadlines, what's coming up. I suppose a Stoic would say, well, if you just manage the time correctly, the deadline isn't the problem. You shouldn't worry about the deadline, because worrying will take up all your time, waste it, and all of that. So I can see the wisdom behind it. I just think it's a little bit trickier when, for most of our lives, we have been told you have to worry about this, worry about the future, worry about. So it is a bit harder for us to cope with, or at least it's harder for me to cope with. I can't speak for everybody. So the Stoic Reserve Clause, I said in yesterday's video that it's it all sounds a bit mysterious, but what it seems to be, apparently Marcus Aurelius said that an intention to have three principal qualities. The first one, it should be undertaken with a reserve clause. It sounds like this horrible grammatical construction. The reserve clause is the idea that you should have some sort of attached indifference to the outcome. So you should be doing something, but whether the outcome happens or not is beyond your control. Yes. I mean, you shouldn't be just do something and say, it's not going to happen. The idea is you should do it, and it might happen. If it does happen, good. If it doesn't, well, you tried, I suppose. The second one on this list is that you should act for the common welfare of mankind. And the organisers say, well, nowadays we'd say this is acting in an ethical manner, doing things, I suppose, for the betterment. So you shouldn't do things that are selfish, that get in other people's way and all that sort of thing, which I think is fairly easy to get on board with. And then thirdly, it should be done according to your nature. So some things you'll be naturally more able or capable of doing, naturally more willing to pursue. So I shouldn't set out on a course to try and, become a business manager, because my set of skills aren't like that. I'm not naturally gifted like that, and frankly, I really don't want to do that sort of thing, so I shouldn't. So do what you want to do. Do it with an aim for doing better in the world, having an impact, I suppose. And also do it with the intention of something happening, but if that doesn't happen, it's not the end of the world. And again, it's this slight indifference to the outcome, I think, is a bit difficult to get a hold on, because ambition is often a driving force for a lot of things, especially for the Romans, actually, I think. You do something for the sake of something happening, and you have ambitions in life, and you want stuff to happen. So yeah, that is a bit trickier, I think. And it says here that often people consider this to be a very passive approach to life. Stoics are like doormats, it says in this handbook. I can see that, and then they counter that by saying that rather than being completely passive, the idea is some sort of a philosophical acceptance of what's happening. And I guess one thing we could say is making the best of a bad situation. You do things, and even if they turn out badly, you're still trying, you're keeping going. And I suppose that's the stiff upper lip attitude that's often ascribed to Stoics, the fact that, you keep going no matter the adversity. Whether you're successful or not isn't important. What's important is that you've tried and you've done something to the best of your abilities. So I guess I can see that as being something I can get behind. Never give up, never surrender, and all that jazz. So as for the actual evening contemplation exercise, this one's a bit longer. So it's from Epictetus' Discourses, and it's I'll read it to you. Story time with Sam. Every habit and faculty is formed or strengthened by the corresponding act. Walking makes you walk better, running makes you a better runner. If you want to be literate, read. If you want to become a painter, paint. Go a month without reading, occupied with something else, and you'll find out what the result is. And if you're laid up for a mere 10 days, when you get up and try to talk any distance, you'll find your legs barely able to support you. So if you like doing something, do it regularly. If you don't like doing something, make a habit of doing something different. I think that's important. The same goes for the affairs of the mind. So if you don't want to be hot-tempered, don't feed your temper, or multiply incidents of anger. Suppress the first impulse to be angry, then begin to count the days on which you don't get angry. I used to get angry every day, then only every other day, then every third. If you resist it for a whole month, offer God a sacrifice, because vice begins to weaken from day one until it is wiped out altogether. Then say, I didn't lose my temper this day, or the next, and not for the next two, then 3 months in succession. If you can say that, you are now in excellent health. Believe me. So, what is that all about? I guess it's all about that cognitive conditioning, what you think of the world, how you think your approach to the world, and all that sort of thing. And I think that's very true. If you don't want to be angry, or if you don't want to be angry all the time, try not to be. I guess that's sort of saying, don't do that. That's what you should be doing. Don't do it. But he's saying, try and see, why was I angry? Why did I get angry? What did I do to stop being angry? And then, yeah, so it is just a case of doing your best and conditioning yourself, as we saw yesterday with the whole self-discipline approach. You've got to try and keep things going. So, yes, I think I've ground to a halt here again today. So how's Stoic Week going so far? Yes, I mean, there's ups and downs. I'm trying to keep things going. I've got a lot of things getting in the way of what I'm meant to be doing for work-wise. Not Stoic Week related, not all of them anyway. Meetings and that sort of thing, and I'm trying to slot them around. And yesterday I didn't get as much work done, but the realization I had was that I actually did more work than I think I've done. Sometimes it's quite hard to quantify that. And yes, taking the approach one day at a time and seeing if I can do better today with the time that I do have today and keep it going. Right, so I'm hopefully going to have another video going tonight on today's topic, Thursday's topic, Stoic mindfulness. After that, it's going to get a bit tricky because on Friday I'm heading up to London, then it's the whole London event shenanigans. So I might have to skip those videos. But yes, we'll see how it goes, and I'll keep you informed. So thanks for watching, and stay stoic.